So, this is going to sound like conspiracy theory to everybody, and I know it is, but that's okay. Do you really think there isn't a global surveillance system, honestly? And again, this sounds crazy, and I get that, but let me explain. So, recently, in the last couple years, they have been talking about how Wi-Fi can map the inside of your house. And these are all very credible scientists and researchers. And for it to be public knowledge at this point, I think that it's probably something we've been doing for a while. And if you are someone who knows anything about radio at absolutely all, you would know that that was possible for far longer than this research just coming out. So let me just throw this at you. Cars, right? All of these have millimeter wave transmitters on them. And again, I don't know the effective range for them, but I would say 30 meters. So a 30-meter dome around this vehicle at every like millisecond or something, it's mapping, creating new maps. It's creating the data. It has all of the algorithms to know if you're a bush, if you're a curb, if you're another car. It can structure out the form of everything using radio waves. So if you're around a vehicle at all, that system knows. And that system is directly connected to all the other vehicles around it and this gigantic mesh network. And it's not only connected to all the other vehicles, it's connected to the companies. And if you think that companies aren't working with governments, you'd be wrong and probably woefully stupid or blissfully ignorant, one or the other. And this is just Wi-Fi, just your Wi-Fi, you know. This is just your car, you know. Basically, any device at this point uses some form of radio waves. And it's not just radio waves, because it's anything that emits electromagnetic frequency, for Pete's sakes, okay? So anything with electricity, realistically, if someone is smart enough, they can figure out how to use it to map your environment around you. I'm not saying that your light bulb is spying on you guys. I'm not saying that. You'd have to be God so wickedly smart to figure that one out. But I'm sure someone has. And I'm going to have to look up the data on that actually after this, because I'm curious. So what do we do in a world where ultimately no one has privacy? You accept it because there's nothing you can do about it. That's all you can do. Just accept it. That's the reality you live in. A lot of people in America like to be like, oh, privacy law this, privacy law that, or we're entitled to personal privacy. And I'm not saying we shouldn't be, but the reality is that's never going to happen. It never was happening and never will happen again. You need to learn to accept this. A lot can be said about how America does this stuff quietly in the background constantly as we try to port the eyes of our people onto places like China, who use social credit systems and face scanning and this and that. The difference is China knows it's happening to them, okay? But here in America, we like willfully ignore this as a possibility. Like tell ourselves, no, this is not happening. There's no way our government would do that to us. And I as a person have known so long. It was like before God, since I've been alive, I've known how the government does this to people, and pretty much all of its people. It has been working a long time to mastermind a way to know everything about everything within its sphere of authority. And I'm not saying that's wrong necessarily. It's how is this data used and manipulated to affect people and things like that. I'm not trying to say it like this is just reality, okay? Like, no matter what, even if they didn't try to do this, someone else was going to use the information because it's science. It might be slightly complicated science, and I actually feel more comfortable with the government knowing about it and how to manipulate it in certain ways. But again, in practice, they have habits of misusing it, which, anyone with that amount of power is going to misuse it a little bit. But I am glad they know a little bit about it instead of some jack off somewhere else manipulating that information to screw with our people. But that's the thing, guys. You don't have privacy. It doesn't exist. Everything you do, especially even more and more as we go on, everything you do is collated, quantified, fingerprinted. They match everything about you, essentially. And you basically have handed this ability over to them, whether it's through your purchases with certain companies or the vehicles you drive, the phones you have, the devices in your house, etc., etc. And at this point, anyone who talks about privacy or wanting to not be inspected 24/7 by radio waves or anything with a current in it, essentially, is deluding themselves into thinking they have a way to not be looked upon. And it's impossible. It's been impossible for a long time. I'm not even like a PhD student or a master's student, and I know that without even looking into it a bunch. And I'll go over a bunch of this stuff in individual segments. The reason this sparked is I saw David Bumble in aluminum foil hat, which I thought was hilarious. Love that guy. He is super funny and intelligent. I don't think everyone would say he's super funny, but something about him to me is funny. But anyway, yeah, I digress. He was wearing an aluminum foil hat. I was like, oh, okay, I get why you're telling people this, but let's be real. We both know that it's been happening a long time. So if you think I'm crazy, you go ahead and let me know in the comments, dude. I promise you I'm not. And like I said, I'm going to definitely do more videos. And I'll pull up some research papers and stuff and show you guys the research that's been done on this. And you can subscribe to tell me I'm wrong there also if you want. But if you think I'm right, you go ahead and hit that like button, dude, and subscribe because I will be back with the data to prove it. And you guys have a great day.